Okay, we are on page 78 of the one and only Bob. Does anyone remember what we read yesterday? Look back. You got your book right in front of you. Look back. What did we read about yesterday? What was the end of what we're reading about, Emily?
That he's like, humans always use clocks and stuff, and like animals always use the moon and stuff like that.
And what was the very last thing that he was telling us about? Like, literally flip back 2 pages. Y'all, flip back 2 pages. What was he telling us about? It's the title of the chapter. The animal shelter. Wonderful. So, and how did he say the animal shelter made him feel? Sad, nervous. So, we got 2 new vocabulary words that we're going to pause at different times to write in. But we will be done with vocabulary after today. So, woo. So, page 78, Drulius. I knew this guy back when I hung out at the mall with Ivan and Ruby. Nice dog named Drulius. Basic mutt. Maybe some lab and golden in there somewhere. He'd done some hard time at a couple shelters. One of those dogs you knew had seen more than his share of the bad stuff the world can throw your way. 1 ear bitten off. Scars. A limp. Drulius lived in his backyard. Winter, spring, summer, fall. Chained up mostly. Flies on his food. Empty water bowl way too often. Still, he always had a nice word to say when I'd pass him on my daily rounds checking out the neighborhood trash cans. Once I saw his owner, again that word, step onto the back porch. Drulius was barking, but he had good reason. A stranger had just passed by. Barking is what we're supposed to do in that circumstance, right? Maybe he's the UPS guy. Maybe he's a serial killer. I mean, come on, we're not the FBI. So anyways, owner came out, big guy, mean looking. Gave Drulius a hard kick with his boot. Yelled, "Shut up, you fool!" and then disappeared. Drulius looked at me kind of embarrassed. We kept talking. A few minutes later, the owner came out again and put some towels on a line. Drulius headed over, tail between his legs, cowering, saying, "I'm sorry, I love you, I'm yours, with his whole dog being. So was Drulius actually saying those words? Or was he just showing those words with his actions? Showing them with his actions. The guy completely ignored him, and then he headed back inside. "He's having a tough time," said Drulius when the guy was gone. "He's a jerk," I said, because subtlety is not my strong point. That word subtlety is one of our vocabulary words. Subtlety means the art of being sensitive, which means you say things in a nice way in order to not hurt people's feelings. So Bob could have just said, "He's mean," and that would have been more subtle than going, "He's a jerk." Does that make sense? Okay. "No, he loves me. He does. He has a funny way of showing it." "Humans," said Drulius, licking a sore on his leg. "You know how they can be." Do I ever? But we gotta stay true. Love 'em, forgive 'em. I thought about that. Thought about it a lot. "Why though?" I finally asked. "Why do we have to forgive them?" Drulius looked shocked and then confused, as if I'd just asked why cheese tastes good. "It just does." "That's the way it is," he said. "That's what we do, Bob." I started to reply, but I managed to hold my tongue, which is not easy for me. It's a very long tongue with a mind of its own. I started to reply, but I managed to hold my tongue, which is not easy. Oh, I'm rereading the same thing. There was no point in making Drulius feel worse than he already did. Later that morning, I found half a turkey sandwich, and I gave the whole thing to him. Well, okay, I had a taste first, but still. Page 82, forgiveness. Ooh, that word forgiveness. Is it easy for you to forgive people when they do you wrong? No, I know I struggle with it sometimes. It seems like forgiving humans is one of those doggy things we're all supposed to do, like having zoomies or doing the bed boogies. It's written into our canine souls. Well, somehow I didn't get the memo, the one that apparently went out to every other dog on the planet about forgiveness. Why should I forgive the humans who tossed me and my siblings out into the night? When you forgive, you lose your anger. And when you lose your anger, you get weak. And when you're weak, you get hurt all over again. The art of human watching. By the time we reach the park, the sky is definitely in a bad mood. So the sky is in a bad mood. What text feature is that? Eli? Personification. Because he's giving the cloud human emotions. Gray clouds galloping like panicked horses. What about that? Gray clouds galloping like panicked horses, Sammy? Simile. The nervous scent of rain on the way, the kind that makes you antsy in your own skin. That word antsy, everyone say antsy? Antsy. That is our final vocabulary word for the part 1 of the vocab quiz. Antsy means restless. That feeling like you got, someone in the other class talked about it, like where there's ants on your skin and you can't sit still, and it's that nervous energy, right? Have you ever felt antsy before? Okay, antsy. When we get near the employee entrance, I hop into Julia's backpack like always. We enter through the special gate where George shows his ID, checks in, and says hi to the staff. Pet dogs aren't allowed at the park. Foxes, wolf, jackals, my dog cousins, they are. But in my opinion, even though they're technically part of my extended family, they're nothing like dogs. Only dogs have perfected the art of human watching. The smartest thing we ever did was figure out how important the human gaze is. So often, when we follow our owner's eyes, we're rewarded with something amazing. A smelly sock, a glazed donut that has fallen onto a smelly sock. We follow every blink, every sidelong glance. We see it, whatever it is, before humans do. We understand before they do. And if there's a glazed donut, we eat it before they do. Puppy eyes. So we're reading to page 90, so we only got a couple more pages. Stick with me. It's mid-morning, still pretty early. There aren't many visitors around yet. We've got a meeting in 20, George tells a couple workers, Hank and Sonia, who groan. Just a quick one. Going over contingency plans one last time in case there's any flooding. Contingency is like your backup plans. It's what you're planning for. It's not really backup, though. You're planning ahead of time in case something goes wrong. So they're hoping nothing does, but in case something goes wrong, they're setting plans in place for if there's flooding. And why might there be flooding? What type of storm is coming? Hurricane. During the last hurricane, a small part of the park flooded, mostly near Reptileville. George helped move cages. He came home smelling like cottonmouths and copperheads. It was all I could do not to barf. Weather Service just issued a tornado watch, Hank says. I thought we were having a hurricane, Julia says. We are, Gus. But sometimes tornadoes are spawned during hurricanes, George explains. And why do you think they might be spawned? Hurricanes have a high wind, yep. Julia frowns. But a watch means maybe, not for sure, right? Yeah, but I want you to head home, George says, just in case. Please, Dad, just 10 minutes, Julia says. She's using the special voice that she reserves for moments when she really, really wants something from her parents. I guess kids manipulate their moms and dads the same way that dogs manipulate humans. I don't know, George begins. I promised Bob. I figure that's my cue to pop my head out and look adorable. So I do. Hey, Bob, says Hank. Sonia reaches over and scratches my ears. I'm pretty popular around the park. I give George my best puppy eyes, and he caves. 10 minutes tops, he says. Meet me back here. Puppy eyes. Works every time. Mr. Oog. Here's how I figure that puppy eyes got their start. Cave humans were sitting around a fire wearing mammoth fur and grunting about how there was nothing on TV because TV hadn't been invented yet. And some wily wolf thought, whoa, they got leftover mammoth meat. And he probably whimpered and cowered and did a tummy display and looked pathetic enough that Mr. Oog finally tossed him a bone. And soon enough, a few zillion years later, voila, man's best friend. After all that time, there's a thing, like a magnetic attraction between dogs and humans. We've studied them for so long that we can read every twitch and sigh. Suppose it was easier than chasing down mammoths. And I get it. I do. The behind-the-ear scratch, the food in a fancy bowl, the bed by the fireplace. I gotta admit that Julia's pretty fun to hang out with, and I'm grateful, really I am, that her family took me in. Still, I don't need them. You need someone. Eventually they let you down, and you end up feeling like a real doofus. So we're going to read the park, and then, so page 90 and 91, and then we're done. The park. As Julia walks, I sneak peeks out of her backpack like I always do. We pass the meerkat family poking out from their den holes like whack-a-mole game that they used to have at Mac's Mall. I see the flashy flamingos with their one-legged balancing act, and the terrifyingly beautiful tigers. Even their cute cubs give me the willies. Families, I've noticed, take a lot of different shapes. Jim and Joe, the penguins, they adopted an abandoned egg, and they are the sweetest, doting parents that you ever saw. I see it with humans at the park, too. Families of all shapes and sizes and colors and genders, and yep, they all seem to do just fine. We round a corner past Sea Otter Alley. Oliver and Olivia are floating calmly on their backs, holding each other's paw. It's pretty adorable, I have to admit. But me, I don't need the trouble that comes with family. Babies puking, toddlers whining, spouses nagging. Talk about a design flaw. And that is where we're done.